Hello there. Welcome to World According to Who. And today we're going to be talking about karma. The topic for today's is what are your thoughts on karma? Do you believe it? Why and why not? And feel free to leave a comment in the comment section and leave a like and share and subscribe. We have more similar content to be shared in the future. And so I made a post about this thought on karma because, it's a karma. I've heard it since when I was a little kid. Moving to the United States, karma is pretty frequently used in the United States. In school, outside school, people tend to have a conversation about, oh yeah, don't worry about it. He or she is going to have karma following. Or don't do that, you're going to have bad karma. And so it's something that I've heard, for many, many times growing up in the United States, in New York City. And now I decided to make a video, a talk about this topic. So I wanted to hear what are people's thoughts on karma. And so when I made this post, someone decided to make a post of a Bible, a King James Version, Galatians 6 verses 7. And this person received a few laughing emojis because I posted in like a philosophical discussion group. And so that Bible verse goes, be not deceived, God is not mocked. For whoever a man sow, that shall he also reap. Tend to heard that before. He received some comments, and here's someone from Glenn. He said, in older Buddhist texts, it just meant that actions have consequences, and we should not blame everything on spirit. And he agreed with that. So action have consequences, and I tend to agree with that. I think there was more people talk about when you take an action, there's a consequence. I'm a chess player. When you make a move, there is a consequence of that move. Whether the consequence is positive or negative, there is a cause and effect. So I tend to believe that. But karma, let's look at a quick definition of what karma is. Okay, karma definition. Okay. So karma on dictionary says the sum of person's action in this or previous state of existence viewed as deciding their fate in the future existence. Okay, so that is one definition. Hinduism defines karma as the relationship between a person's mental or physical action and the consequences following that action. If you were to define karma in one word, how would you define it? Karma in one word. According to here, it says karma, if you break into one word, it would be like fate, destiny. Okay. Here's another one, says karma literally means action. Here's one. What truly is karma? And according to that, an action, work, or deed, and effects or consequences. Looks like there's karma in the Bible, according to Bible study tools. The sum of person's action in this previous state of existence. Oh, it's pretty similar to what I read earlier. Viewed as deciding their fate in the future existence. Okay, so the sum of your actions and what you've done in this existence that will be a deciding factor of your fate in the future existence. That sounds a little bit more religious. You do good, then you go to heaven. That kind of idea. Or you believe in Jesus sacrificing for you, for your sins, and you have accept Jesus as your God, then you go to heaven. That sort of talk seems like, where some other people, they look at it as more of consequence. Okay, anyway, let's move on to a few other ones. Okay, so this person said, no one is keeping score. Karma isn't real. No one is keeping the score. Karma is not real. I tend to resonate with that. I've seen people that are honest, loyal. They try to their best to do the right thing, and there are people who are like that who end up with a really bad life, whether in sickness or having bad death, suffer through their whole entire life. And then there are also people who are manipulative, deceiving, and not ethical, and they tend to live a very good life. So it's quite similar to what this person's saying, that no one's keeping score. Karma is not real. That your actions, your deed does not equivalent to you going to have a better life later. It's not necessarily true, because we look around and there are people who are nice and kind, but they are constantly dealing with a lot of struggles in life. And I feel like if you want to be kind, don't seek for a positive consequence. If you want to be kind to a certain group or in situation, don't expect that you wanted to have a good consequence. Otherwise, that's kind of like a reinforcement. Be kind because you wanted to be kind. I tend to have more compassion for elderly people, helping them with carrying things or be there to protect them, and not expecting anything in return. I just feel sometimes when I look at an elderly person, I could picture my grandmother being elderly. I have not seen my grandmother for a very long time and did not get the chance to see her. And she passed away about over a year ago. I spent probably just the first 9-10 years with her back in China, and never really got the chance to see her, and she passed away. So oftentimes I think about her and I misses her, and when I see an elderly person, I sometimes will tell them, you remind me of my grandmother. And there's a part that I wanted to help them if they are in need, but there's no desire of reward. I think when it comes to reward, then it kind of eliminates the nature of wanting to help somebody or a community, because you are expecting a reward. I feel if you truly care about someone or a situation or a cause, put in your heart to do it. I guess there is a reward is that you are fulfilling with what you desire rather than for an external reward or future karma, sort of say. Okay, so we got this June. He said, "Oh, forever you sow, so you shall reap." That's the Bible. Mm. Okay, let's see. This person seems like it's from India. He said, "It only a belief, and before believing anything, you should find out why one believes something, why there should be any type of belief. Beliefs are not truths. And so there can be lead to illusion ones. Either we know something or we don't know something. Only two states are there. There is no place for belief." Okay. Thank you for sharing that. We got Antoinette. Antoinette said, "I don't believe in it because it hasn't been demonstrated. But you've had a lot of legwork before you even try. Karma will need a mechanism. First, you have to give us that. And that if mechanism is by some supernatural being or force, you then have to demonstrate that exists." Yep. "Logically, it's a nightmare," she said. Then there's all examples. We have a horrible, evil people who are incredibly wealthy, healthy, fulfilled, and all good people starving, dying, being abused. It's simply nowhere in reality. Well said. That's similar to what I shared earlier, that there are so-called, I guess for a standard of the society that are considered to be like moral, ethical, good people, and they are suffering, starving, dying, living unhealthy life, or constantly dealing with cancer or family dying, or they're dealing multiple health problems over and over again over the years, which I have encountered people like that before. Not sure if they're good, but and then there are people who are, some extremely wealthy people tend to be very, very greedy too. I feel like when I go visit Whole Foods and during lunchtime, when I visit, sometimes like they are way understaffed. There's only two cashiers, and we have people waiting online. Okay, so maybe last week or 2 weeks ago, there was like few times where people wait online for a while. There's only two cashiers with so many people with lines, and that in a way I feel like Jeff Bezos is greedy, not having extra staff. And then when I talk to people, a lot of people are underpaid. They are barely be able to afford to buy a home in San Diego, and they are just going by paycheck to paycheck paying their rent. And so, like those multi-billionaires, they are living a healthy, fulfilled life, while people who are in the super working class, they are struggling to pay their bills, just enough to maybe just get by. Anyway, enough my rent. So this person, Chris, he said, "Yes, I believe it." He said, "I believe it because I believe the Buddha and other arahant who have taught it. A person's conscious also support the concept of karma." Okay. We have this person, Memo, said, "Depends on your definition of it." Okay. Said, "Action have consequences. If a person does a good deed for a person, then another person, and then for another person, and they surround themselves with people who are grateful, then chances are that when this person needs help, they will have someone willing to help them out." Okay. In conversely, if they do bad deeds towards someone, then towards someone else, and so on, chances are that when this person needs help, there were less people willing to help them out and more people willing to harm them. It's just consequences. But it's not like some divine counter is running of your good and bad deeds. Okay, I can't understand what this person is saying. He saying that if you surround, let's say you have a community and you're someone who is helpful towards your community, very likelihood is your community will return in favor. Not necessarily also. And he explained that if you do bad deeds in a community and then you get a bad reputation, then people don't want to hang out with you, people don't want to associate with you, and then if you're in that need for help, then very likely people won't be there for you. I think that's the summary of what he's saying. And then and he said it's not divine, like, somebody's keeping a note, like there's a supernatural being that's keeping a note. Oh, you did good, you get this good consequence. You did bad, you get that, or you get reincarnated into a royal. Or if you do bad deeds, you're gonna become next life. You're gonna become a cockroach. It doesn't mean that. Like, I don't know. I don't believe in that. I mean, it's not proven. It's just kind of like how I talk about Mormonism and Christian and Muslims and other religions. It's just like it's not proven. It's just an idea. Idea not proven. It could be just simply made up. So if you were born in Utah, Salt Lake, born in Utah, you're very likely going to be a Mormon. If you're born in a Mormon family, you're very likely going to be a Mormon. If you're born in a Muslim country, you're very likely going to be a Muslim. If you're born in India, you're very likely going to be a Hindu. So it's just wherever you're born in, the chances are the environment will influence you. And so Alan said, "No, I don't believe in it, as there would be need to be a way of passing the karma." And he parentheses, he say, or knowledge of good and bad actions around to make it work. It's most likely just confirmation bias that people experience. Okay. However, as a concept, it's good as it encourages good actions and discourages bad actions. I agree. Also, in a roundabout way, it may be influence people even though it doesn't exist. Yes. For instance, if I'm stuck in traffic and I'm in nice or another driver by letting them in, and they feel good, so do the same, and that person feel good, etc. Eventually, one of those people feeling good may let me pull in further up. But that say more about the best approach is to be kind to others rather than selfish as opposed to karma. Okay. So somebody asked follow-up question, what is karma then? And then Alan responds, it's mentioned in the OP, and definition I'm using is informal. And then good or bad luck, view as resulting of one's action. Agree. I think that's how maybe the general public mainstream defines it. Karma is defined as good or bad luck resulting from your action. Not necessarily true. So, chess, for instance. I make a move. It may not be a good move, but opponent did not see the blunder. Opponent makes a different move, and I'm saved because I saw the blunder after I made that mistake. So then there's no karma. It's just maybe you make certain bad decision that will lead into a consequence, but it may not be so every single time. Okay, so we have this person said, Yeah, I do believe in it. It is otherwise called consequence. There are good and bad karma or good and bad consequences depending upon our actions. Okay. Um, Sarah said karma. Another word for you reap what you sow. You make your bed and you lie in it, or life is what you make it. Michael said, it's clearly nonsense. And he said, nonsense doesn't need an explanation. Okay. And then Clint said, karma is an illusion. Good and bad things happen to most people, and not everyone gets what they deserve. The universe, with its laws of physics, doesn't decide who has a fortune and misfortune based on their action treatment of others. Oh, I fully agree. Thank you, thank you for sharing. That's a really well way of put it. I'm gonna repeat. Karma is an illusion. Good and bad things happen to most people, and not everyone gets what they deserve. The universe has its law of physics, doesn't decide who has fortune and misfortune based on their actions and treatment of others. Well said. And truly, good and bad things happen to all kinds of people. I live in San Diego, California. We have very nice weather. To me, that is a very good fortune to have nice weather. And there are bad people living in San Diego who are also experiencing the good weather. And then, let's say Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona. Right now it's very, very hot. There are good and bad people living over there. To me, like that may be like the good fortune, having good weather to enjoy, going outside, etc. The nature, doing yoga outside, practice martial arts outside, walk on the beach, hiking. To me, that's good fortune. But there's all sorts of people that lives here, and there's all sorts of people living in Phoenix, Arizona. Currently, Salt Lake City, Utah is also pretty hot. Or other parts of the Midwest, there's a lot of mosquitoes and extreme weather temperatures. Good and bad things happen to people all the time, regardless of whether you're good or bad. Well said. I agree with that person. Then here's Mike. He said, good things happen to bad people and bad things happen to good people. There is no karma. Agree. Yeah. And then Gaiden, he said, karma simply means action. In the epic, okay, I'm not going to read the names because they're a little bit... he quoted, the world around you is woven by karma, action, of the collective self. Hence, you do not blame anyone if anything wrong happens to you, and do not boast about any achievements saying that you did them. Just perform your karma. Okay. Carla said, it makes the most sense, but I don't know if I believe in it. Karma kind of answered why there is so much sufferings and gives it a purpose in a way. It's kind of cool that you don't have to subscribe to a cult, like a monotheist religion, to actually take it. I don't take the Western definition of karma. They seem to think it's all about bad deeds and what comes to the people they feel are deserving. It's not like that at all. It's important to take dharma in account as well. You don't be judging people and saying stuff like karma's a bitch. My understanding of it seems to be total compassion based. Learning how to be compassionate seems to be the ultimate enlightenment, so to speak. I like the philosophy because it resonates with me. My value and conviction, my behavior in this world is what matters most to me. I don't have to police others or live in fear of judgment. It's a really cool philosophy. I like the idea. It's nice. Okay. And then we got John. He said, I think it makes sense from the point of view of justice that people get what they deserve. However, there is also mercy where one chooses to reduce the old punishment or whether the guilty recognizes their problem, thus make a genuine change. And then he said, I don't know how to fit into karma. I see. Brent said, another thing atheists cannot explain. And then wait, it doesn't exist to them. Yeah, I tend to believe that it's something you cannot. It's something you cannot. You have no evidence to back karma up. Just what the previous people have said in I read earlier. Good things happen to bad people, bad things happen to good people, and karma will just be irrelevant. Martin said, no, it doesn't. Otherwise, we see real justice, and we don't, unfortunately. Oh, man, that's sad. What Martin just shared, it makes sense. The real justice just doesn't... I mean, in the U.S., I feel just the law is still, effective. But there's a lot of corrupted countries out there in this world where bribery is huge. Corruption is huge. Police will just simply take money from you and they're kind of like a bully. And so where's the justice? Where's the karma? I think karma will just give people a feeling of comforting. Where you trying to think like, if so and so did this to me, yeah, karma's gonna get to them. It's a nice way to comfort yourself. But is it really actual reality? Alright, Israel said, hell no! There isn't sound proof we are reborn as someone or something else because bad things in a previous life. Even there was punishment like that has to be realized by the person to be a punishment. Cockroaches show no ability to recognize that their existence is punishment for wrong in the previous life. How is that even a punishment? It's mystical, made up BS. Yeah, believe it. I believe it. Thank you for sharing. Peter simply said, lack of evidence. And then someone follow up saying, what do you understand about karma? Peter responded, it varies, but impacts on one's life or next life is a result of action. Typically, these actions are measured in terms of good, evil, proper, improper, and the results are in the direction of these actions. For most, if you do good, then good will happen to you. Yep, agree. Okay. Gordon said, karma has nothing to do with invisible beings. Let's see. John said, I think it's just coincidence. People think, I've done good, so something good will happen to me. It's just chance. A person could rob 10 banks, but help an elder person cross the road and go on court. And the judge says 5 years instead 20. Karma doesn't play there. Okay, let's go over a few more. Matthew said it's a metaphor. For it to be real, rebirth needs to be real. Rebirth is also a metaphor. The universe does not have intentionality. Don said, what goes around comes around. Even said, I am not believing karma from a religious point of view, but I do believe in a natural force or some sort of universal law or balance. Okay, I'm gonna read the last one. Lindsay said, I believe our actions have consequences, but I don't believe in karma per se. Absolutely horrible people live wonderful lives, and wonderful people are shitting all the time. Life just happens. What are your thoughts about karma? Do you believe in karma? How do you define karma? When was the first time you heard about karma, and have you looked into this topic? Share your thoughts, give it a like, subscribe, and share it with your friends. We'd love to hear more about your thoughts, and also make a comments what other topics that you would like me to discuss in the future.